Happy Monday afternoon to you, and welcome to the It's All Good Mining and Repair channel. I'm Brian. I'm your host today, and let's dive into this. I've got a lot of. I'm kind of excited about today because it's the second part of this video series I'm doing about cleaning and recycling chips. Right, so I guess I should have started with the testing part, but the testing. Something I do at the beginning and the end. So I'll show you the testing tomorrow. Today, we're going to take those 20 chips right over here. These are the 20 chips we cleaned up on Friday. And we're going to take these guys and you see they're all nice and clean. Let me turn a little bit of light on there. Yeah, there we go. Good, good, good. So we're going to take those nice cleaned chips and we're going to put little balls on them, solder balls. We're going to reball the chip. We're going to re-tin the chip, as it seems to be called in ASIC repair circles. So let's dive into that today. Let's get going, because I've only got about an hour, and it's already 12:20. So I got a boogie. Let's get into this. So I've got ChipQuick TS391 ASIC or AX50. Here's the deal. I bought this when I was just putting my bench together. I think in hindsight now, I would probably go with the same thing, but I'd go with it in a plunger, right? Yes, you're going to pay more for this, but honestly, this stuff's drying out faster than I really would like, even if I keep it in the fridge. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, all right, the way you, I've already kind of stirred it around before I open it. The way you do this is pretty simple. You put take the chip, put it in here. Make sure it's seated in the spot. I want to look at that. Let's pull the microscope over real quick. And let me get it in focus. And let me turn the light down. There you go. See? So you just get it, right? You just get it seated. And then you put the tin plate over the top of it and make sure all the holes are good. They are. So now we can smear the paste and get going. So let's do that. I'm going to put this back over here because I'll use this microscope off to the side to check quickly. Turn the brightness up a little bit. All right. So this takes I found that I had to practice this a few times before I got it right. But essentially, you put some on, whether you squirt it out of the syringe or you scoop it out, and then you just smear it across. Right now, I'm not dragging my blade yet. Now, oh, where did I get this? This came out of a kit. It was a kit that had oh heck. Crash, boom, bam. So it came with some soldering sponges, which I never use. It also came with this nice little handy holder and some brass or copper for cleaning off the soldering tip. So anyway, it came with two of these. I think it was like $9 off of Amazon. I'll find the link after the video and I'll post it in the comments down below or in the description down below. These are handy, but any kind of flat, straight, stiff edge you can use. So once you've got the paste across there, then you just drag kind of the flat, straight edge across, right? There you go. That's it. That's all there is to it. Now I use a little needle. I found a needle that had like a little T handle on it, but any kind of sharp needle will work. And I just go to one of those center holes there and I poke it. That way the chip stays in here and it doesn't stick to the back. Let's look over there in the right hand side. Oh, I need to refocus. All right, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Just want to make sure that you've got, yeah, it looks like we got, okay. So this is a good example of a problem. No solder right there. That's a bummer. Now sometimes when you see that, let's go over to the microscope here. Sometimes you can get away with just getting a little bit on your needle. And you can put that on there. As you can see, the two are touching, so I need to convince them not to touch. Clean off my needle. Okay. It's good enough. The other option you can do is wipe it off with rubbing alcohol and start over. But why do that whenever we just needed to touch up that one? Okay. Technically, I guess you could do them all like that, but man, you saw how much time that took. So let's go ahead and keep going. We got 19 more to do. And I'll tell you what, where am I going to set it? I'll set it right here. Okay. Set them right up here so you can see where I'm working. And then I'll, all right, here we go. Number 2. Just take it, smush, smush, smush. And just like that, we're good to go. Cool. That's all there is to it. Now, if I find that same problem, which I bet I do, what that tells me, if I look underneath my I bet I have I do. I have a bit of paste clogging up that hole. I can tell you that right now, because I can see it. I can look through all the holes and I can see it. Now that's annoying because I thought I cleaned that up. But apparently I did a bad job cleaning, or there was some debris in my flux. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this under the microscope. Yeah, we're missing on both of these. If we look at, you can see these two right here are both whacked out now. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get some alcohol, wipe it off, just like that. Let that alcohol dry, and then I will reapply paste. It doesn't take a lot of paste to tin these chips, so it's not like I'm wasting a bunch of solder paste. Okay. All right, so let's do the next one. Okay. Nothing really exciting here doing this. Oh, no, this is a problem. Okay, it's stuck. Okay, so this is a great example. See, the chip stuck to the back of the thing. So I can get it. There we go. Let's see. Okay. Let's see, how did that one do? All right, despite all my efforts to the contrary of inadvertently messing it up, I think I actually did okay. See, I'll tell you what, let me turn my microscope, get the adjustment just a little bit better so I can see. Make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. I'm going to put it over here. Okay. Grab a little bit. Okay. It's fun doing this stuff live on camera because you just you can do it. You can do it. It seems like 100 times. It works just fine. You do it on camera and nothing works. Okay. But that's half the fun, I guess. If you have a little bit of compressed air, that would be real handy to be able to blow through that. But you want to be careful that you don't end up messing up the plate. I have not figured out a way to wire up air for my bench yet, but as soon as I do, I'll start using it. Okay. I was yabbering for a second there, and I thought I had left my mic muted. That would be bad. All right. So today we're going to put the solder on, and then we're going to heat the solder. That is assuming I can get to all 20. So this paste has a pretty reasonable working time. All the crazy things I used to worry about, like covering it, keeping it covered if I took too long, and so forth. I don't really worry so much about that anymore because I find that I can get 20 or so chips done in a reasonable amount of time. Okay. What I'm doing whenever I turn, I actually use the lights on that are over my bench. So I just look up. I'll look through it from the bottom side. I look through the holes to see my light, and that helps me to see if there's anything clogged up in there. Okay, let's keep going. So if you're following any news lately, it seems like I think ClearSpark is building up their mining farm. That's exciting for them. Taking advantage of the cheaper Bitcoin miners that are available right now in the used market. Oops. Flip that around. Let's see. Did I damage anything when I did that? No. Okay, cool. All right, so we've got 5. I'm 25% of the way there. Woohoo! So yeah, so ClearSpark is adding pretty big amount. I think 20,000 S19 Pro J's. Wow. I can't imagine the amount of power, megawatts of power that would require. Okay. All right, let's see. How are we doing here? 18 minutes in. The good news about this is it seems to me that it takes me longer to get started and get my rhythm. But once I get my rhythm, these chips move pretty fast. Of course, if I try to rush myself too fast, then I end up making a mess. And, well, you know, if you do something 3 or 4 times because you're going too fast, then you're really not doing any good. Okay. Keep going. Practice makes perfect. I know I watch like Jonathan and the team over at Decentral. I watch those guys do this. You know, they've done it a few times on screen, and they just make it look super simple. But then I also watched, what's his name, ASIC Repair, I think, his channel from a year ago. He was doing videos quite a bit, and I felt his struggles, you know, because he was like, I have trouble with this sometimes. Like, yeah, I understand. So it's just practice, just like soldering. I mean, first time if you've never used a hot air station before, then like that first time, like what the heck? You blow parts off into another universe, and you're like, where did they go? And there's too little. You're not gonna find them most of the time. But with practice, you get good. Same thing with this. You just have to practice. Heck, for that matter, I remember back when I learned to tin wires, and of course, that was a long time ago. But it just takes practice. Soldering is a lot like it's just another form of welding, kind of like brazing pipe and welding steel with MIG or TIG or arc. Every way you connect metals together takes practice. Well, prepping things like the solder here is just another thing. It takes practice. And honestly, what works for me may not work for you. So I encourage everybody to try it and see what you get for your technique. All right, looks like I'm halfway there, roughly. I think I need a little bit more. Man, I'm getting hungry. Whew. That's a problem with doing this lunchtime stream. Thought I might do a lunchtime stream today just to see if I catch anybody on their lunch break. All right, that looks good. You just check and make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. Yep, cool. You are. Good. I think I might, I don't know. I'm thinking about how I'm going to redo my layout so I can get a little bit better microscope, because there's a lot of time that I'm just using the microscope and the overhead, right? Or maybe just the microscope and the 3 cameras, the overhead, microscope, and the bench camera over here. So I gotta figure out a way to get those better. I did get my light mounts attached to the ceiling. Those newer model ceiling mounts are awesome. The one boom mount, I attached it straight overhead. It's just right up there. I think I'm going to put my camera there. I'm going to relocate my camera up to that, but it's Right now it's about 18 inches or so higher than I want for my camera. So I'm just working on the mount. Okay. Honestly, I made such a mess with the sheetrock, even though I tried to be clean, right? Put a cloth down and stuff. Still, my bench just got covered. So I had all kinds of sheetrock dust. Still cleaning that up. Okay. This is oh man, I bet I ruined that one. Let's see. Shifted a little bit, but looks good enough. So this is one of those great things to do. Like I said, I work 20 at a time. Usually. But this is a great thing to do. You just put some music on and you want something that is not stressful. Just go to town. I do not personally like to do this while I'm in the middle of doing a board repair. I want a batch of chips all ready to go that I can just dig into and say, okay. And that way I've tested them, know they're good, and I don't have to stop mid troubleshooting, mid thought, and do that. But you know, hey, if you like to work, you know, all kinds of different phases all at the same time, then you know, just make a couple of chips up at a time as you need them. This technique also, by the way, what we're doing today works with a brand new chip. You do the exact same thing, right? You'd open the chip straight out of the little bitty holder that the chip comes in. You put the chip in here and smear the solder paste on just like we're doing. It works identical. Usually you don't have to worry about if it's sealed, you don't have to worry about cleaning it. So that's always a nice piece. So like I left these things to soak in alcohol over the weekend just because I was doing other things. You don't have to do that with brand new chips. However, if your brand new chips have been out of their packaging, cleaning them with alcohol on them, then you know, drying it off and letting them sit for 5-10 minutes to really let the alcohol dry off is not a bad idea. So okay, we have got a rhythm going here. I like it. Good. All right. Let me grab a sip of water. Be right back. Okay. Just checking. Now, it really is nice though when you have a brand new chip, you can look through the little holes and you'll see the copper, right? Because it'll be copper color instead of silver color. So it's really nice when you are working with new chips. But I don't know. Used chips are cheaper. Even if you get them from a supplier with a 50% failure rate, yeah, I don't know, it's cheaper, so, or it should be. If you're not at least coming out 75% cheaper than brand new chip, then you're doing something not right. In that case, find a different supplier. The supplier where these chips came from, we are we were going through a few things, talking about a few things, and once I take care of a couple of questions I have about that, like that surface coating, what they were doing to the top of the chips, why they look the way they do. Once I kind of have a little bit of clarity about that, then I will certainly start recommending them for chips. Of course, I guess it's one of those things. If I recommend chips to everybody and find this channel and you start watching it, then you'll be buying out their chips, and then I won't be able to get any. That's the wrong attitude. I'm sure they've got thousands and thousands of chips. Okay. So when I put my little spreader here, when I don't scoop it, I just kind of dab it in at about a 30-degree angle or so. I dab it in the Chip Quick container, because I just want to get some to stick to the bottom edge here. So there we go. Oh, shouldn't have put that upside down. All right. Cool. All right. So you noticed, or hopefully you noticed, that despite my rambling, we're down to the last chip. Hot dog. It's great. So we will get this last chip done, and then I'll clean up and then we will actually apply heat. I don't know why I just want to keep, I just don't, there we go. Okay. There's another thing about when you're doing this, and it's hard to show, but I can tell you the feeling. You should feel like the way the tin jig is set up, there's a little bit of like a hump, right, where the chip is. And so when you drag across the chip, you should feel it just kind of come down just a little bit. If you feel a big drop, or if you feel like you're really coming over a big hill after you go past the where the holes are, then your chip's not setting flat in your tin tool, and you will not get good results. Now, last one. Set this over here. Should get back to that in a second. Okay, let's see if it's a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. It's crazy to me just how, so when you can look through the two eyepieces of the scope, you can see so much more like three-dimensional detail that you just can't see looking at it through the TV monitor. All right, so we're done, right? Yay, we're finished. What I always do when I'm finished, do not forget about it. Don't even think about doing it. Do not take this and scrape it off, put it back in here. Nope, because you do collect some dirt and little metal bits that I find start to clog up your flux after a bit, and then especially you'll end up having problems with later reballing. So don't do it. Heck, besides, even you're saving money by buying the 50-gram jar if you buy that versus the syringe. So forget about it. Now I also, whenever I go to put this up, I just if I see any old dried out solder paste, I kind of take that or wipe that off and try to clean it out, because I don't want clumps of solder that might let air in. So, okay, Cool. And I'll wipe off this. That seal is good. Because air is not your friend when it comes to solder paste. Cool. Yay. We're done with that. Good. Let's see. Did I clean this up? I don't remember. If in doubt, clean it again. Okie dokie. Let's just check it under the microscope. And let me zoom out. Try to get focus on that. Yeah, there we go. Now, sometimes that's hard to see if there's anything. It looks like there's some. If I look. Wow, look at that. There's some. Okay. Check it by looking up at the light. I find sometimes just a little bit of spit will also help clean it up. So, yeah. Obviously, that's not my first go-to, but sometimes that's what I finish it off with. Okay, so we're done with that. Put that off to the side. I've got my soldering hot air station set to 420, just my normal solder desolder temperature level. So what I do, I come over here, I grab the chip. Now I grab the chip at what I call the top and the bottom, right? Not the sides where the little balls are. And hold the gun an inch or two away. And I just hit it until all the little gray spots turn silver. And it happens all at once usually. Cool. Just like that. And I can, oh, goodness gracious. Make sure you set your hot air station back in there. Okay, so I put it underneath the scope and lo and behold, all of them look good. Cool. Okay. Let me see if I can do a little bit of adjustment. This is a manual focus camera, so give me just a second. Let's see here. Okay, that's a little bit better, right? So let's do another one. Okay. Even though I zoomed in, right, it's still. Oh, okay, so I was not paying attention and it's all done. Cool. All right. So I tend to just, most of the time, just hold my hot air station in my right hand. Waving it around while I'm looking at the chip under the microscope. This is one of those things that some people might want to do with their holding the hot air gun with their left hand, or I've even seen guys put the hot air on like a mic boom clamp. So you could do that if you just cannot hold things with your left hand or manipulate tweezers with your left hand, then you can try that. They're all just moving along real nice today. You just want to put enough heat on it to get the solder to melt. Don't sit there and try to Don't just leave it there, because you can actually ruin chips doing this. Ask me how I know. Just a personal preference, but if you're just getting started in this, I'd buy a couple of brand new chips just so that you can like have those as reference chips if you want to do measurements off of them. But I wouldn't necessarily try to start installing them first. I would practice soldering, desoldering, and resoldering, all that with used chips. I was very lucky. I blew up a board. My first board I blew up. Okay, so this one has two bummer spots. Let's talk about fixing that. Okay. Actually, I'll tell you what. We'll come back to that one. Put that one off to the side over here. Keep going. So, like I was saying, I kind of consider myself lucky because I blew up. I had bought a board for hash board for like, I don't know, $35 shipped to me, and I started working on fixing it, and I hooked, instead of using a benchtop power supply, I used an AP9 or APW9 plus. I used the power supply that you use on a S17 plus. Now I had my tester, my Team Miner tester, but wow, it just. And I forgot how I got it to actually do 21 volts, but I did it. I got it running 21 volts, and then I proceeded to absolutely fry the board. So don't do that anymore. I use my bench tester. I limit the power to about 10 amps. And I don't melt traces off of boards anymore. But that board turned out to be a real benefit because I used it as a practice board for soldering practice. So I would take stuff on and off board, and I had a ton of bad chips for that cheap board, and so I practiced this whole soldering process. Okay, so even though I destroyed the traces, the pads for the chips were all good, and so I took a destroyed board and turned it into something good. Okay. Sorry that I'm putting the chips just outside of your view. I'm trying to get it where I don't have the hot air blowing on the chips. But just like putting the solder paste on, I find this to be a very therapeutic and relaxing thing. Again, I like to do this with music playing normally, but if I had music playing right now, I'd probably get a copyright strike, so I don't really want that. Okay. See, I had a little piece of, I don't know, fuzz or something, so I just blew it off with the hot air. Okay. Crazy thing, when I first started doing this, I would actually solder, or I would do this soldering part under the microscope so that I could see the solder melt. That's fun. Nowadays, though, heat it up. Watch for the silver. You see the little silver shine. You know you're done. Okay. Here comes number 19. Okay, all good. Okay. Set that to the side. Let's go over to microscope view because I'm going to need to set this up. Got this one. And that, oh, why am I not in the camera? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I got this one and this one that needs a little bit of solder paste. Doesn't need much, just a little bit. Sometimes I try it with my tweezers, other times I try it with my needle or my little needle. Whatever it takes to get a little bit on. Sometimes you need both, right? You need to scrape it off. Okay. Now let's see if I can do a little bit of artwork to make it look better. Okay, good. That's probably good enough. Yeah, I got some solder on there, so it'll work. And then just scrape, 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 and then see if I can get that solder to get away from the other. Good. All right, let's. So it's definitely easier at this point to try to add the two solder balls, or add balls to the two solder pads rather than going through the full cleaning process again. Because for one thing, going through the full cleaning process means that you put a lot more heat into the chip, and there is a finite number of times. Okay, there is a finite number of times that you can do that. Hey, let's do this under the scope, shall we? Woo, look at that. That was fun. Okay, cool. All right. And that's it, folks. Oh, let me go back to overhead. Let's fix our overhead, right? Let's zoom it back out. These Makosi cameras may be nice for the price, but they don't have autofocus and all that. So bear with me for just a second. There we go. They are crazy sensitive. All right, there you go. All right, so that's it. Let's see, how did we do? What did we do? Did we do anything? Okay, looks like 47 minutes so far. I'm going to stop the stream here. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow, we'll test these chips. Right now, this will be the process that you actually want to do probably before you even start. So you do that first, but then I also test the chips after I retin them, because I want to make sure that my soldering and my changes, or my touching of the chip and so forth, didn't ruin the chip. So thank you so much for watching. Hey, I haven't mentioned it all stream long, but if you like this comment, be sure to smash the like button. Give me a subscribe and smash the notification bell so if you want to be notified when I go live and post videos in the future. Try to stream at least once a day, and I guess after tomorrow we'll do the testing, right? We'll finish out this little series with my steps that I personally use to test the chip, and then after that we'll get back into fixing S17 hash boards. Hey, by the way, one more thing. Go ahead and give you a little preview, I guess. This board, do you remember this board? Should remember this board. This is the board we fixed the other day, and because they're the nice little solder nuts. Now you notice it's really clean. And it's even got the chip numbers written back on it. Yeah. So this board now suffers a source temp error, and that's what we'll be working on next. But I needed some more fresh chips to get back into it. So temperature sensors 4, 3, and 4, or if you're base 0, 2, and 3 are showing an error. It's on this domain right here. So we'll get back into that hopefully on Wednesday. Again, smash the like button. Be sure to click the subscribe and the notification bell so you are notified when I go live and when I post videos. Thank you so much for watching, and have a most excellent rest of your Monday.